Welcome to the Fayetteville Fire Podcast, your source for all the safety, fire, and sometimes random information you never knew you wanted. I'm Captain Steve Shakeshaft, your host for the podcast, and I've got the best job ever. Let's talk about it. How's it going, Chief?
How you doing today?
Oh, hanging out. It's hard to believe we're already into May.
Yes, spring is sprung. I heard somebody say that the other day. Thankfully, the pollen's about gone.
Yes. It's weird. It'll get me one time a year. One time a year I'll get the sniffles, and then it's gone. Even when the pollen's still here. It just hits me for a couple days, and it's gone. So, but, man, what's first quarter? What's been going on?
A big quarter for the Fayetteville Fire Department. Some things we're really excited about. In March, when we did our annual physicals, we also included firefighter cancer screenings for the first time. And that's a big deal for our folks and for our industry. Firefighters are 9 times more likely to get cancer and 14 times more likely to die from it if they get it. So we committed to our folks. The city management and city council has also committed to our folks. And we were able to provide that service this year, and we're excited about it. Hopefully, everybody gets good results, but you never want to hear if we'd only caught it sooner.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going for.
I was glad to see my numbers came back fairly positive, so that was good to see.
Also, our community risk reduction folks, and assisted by our operations staff, have installed 444 smoke alarms and 100 CO alarms in the houses, absolutely free of charge. So that's 444 families that are now laying their heads to bed at night, not having to worry about being alerted for fire. That they're covered. So that was a great thing. We received 3 new apparatus. We've received a new hazmat apparatus to replace a 2000 model. So our hazmat folks are excited about that. It's got some good amenities for dressing in their level A suits and getting out of the weather and things like that. We received new engine 16 and new engine 17. They replaced 2012 and 2013 models. So we're doing well. Again, we can't do anything without the support of city management, the elected officials, and they take care of us and allow us to put our folks in the best equipment. And the thing I'm most excited about is we held our initial crisis response dog program training, and what that is, that's a collaboration with a group called Pause for People, and it's for mental health, for not only our folks but for everyday citizens that may need it. We can provide it. And basically we asked our folks who was interested in being a handler for this dog. We had a group of folks apply. We held an initial training with the company who comes in and helps us pick the best handler. They brought in dogs that will probably be paired with this group. We have our handlers picked, and they're finishing out their training actually this week. So we hope to have a big announcement of our new member pretty soon. And like I said, firefighter health and wellness is big in our not only our organization but in the fire service nationwide. And if it's not cancer you're worried about, it's mental health. And what people don't realize is, we see everybody's worst day. Nobody ever calls the fire department to come, have a hot dog. They call them when something's gone horribly wrong. And after you see horrible events all day, every day, it weighs on you, and it becomes your event. And this crisis response dog is one way to help combat that and look after our folks. And then also, there's opportunities if the dog actually rides the fire truck with the handler when he's at work. So if they go to a wreck or they go to a medical call where grandma or grandpa or mom or dad's having a medical emergency and there's a small child there or teenager or whoever, the dog can provide that treatment there. The dogs are trained to understand you and what your hormones and things are doing, and they can actually pick out who has the most stress. I laughed because when we had the dogs there training, I went and played with them, and they all came to me. So either they all like dogs or I've got the most stress. I don't know, probably a little bit of both. but we're excited about that. We're doing some good things.
Yeah, we had the peer support guys on last month talking about that, and that actually garnered a lot of questions. People listening to the podcast asking. So we're getting one dog for now, and hopefully working toward more. Right?
Yep.
Is that accurate?
These dogs are not cheap.
No.
So our first dog was actually the funding was provided by 3 sponsors. The Fayetteville Firefighters Benevolent Fund paid a third. The Fayetteville Firefighters Union paid a third, and the Bowen Strong Foundation paid a third. And everybody knows John Bowen was a battalion chief that passed away with occupational cancer. And his family opened up a foundation, and they're big supporters of us. But we are hoping to move forward with additional dogs. Our goal is to have at least maybe 1 per shift. So it's baby steps. But we do have one in the FY26 budget, so we'll see what happens.
Cool. Very cool. So what else has been happening? You had your presentation for council talking about the first quarter and everything that's been going on. I mean, it has been just such a busy few months. I can't believe it's already here. What else is up?
We started our presentation always by honoring our folks, past, present, and future. And we had 3 retirements this past quarter. 2 deputy chiefs, Chief Miguel Alvarez and Chief Ronnie Willett, both retired. Chief Alvarez had 30 years and Chief Willett had 28. And Chief Willett actually has moved on to the National Fire Academy, where he's going to be influencing folks from all over the nation. So that's exciting for us. You know, we're the seed for that. So that's 58 years between those 2, and then we had Captain William Chad Autry retire with 30 years. So there's 100 years of institutional knowledge that left us. But we're excited for them. They're all 3 healthy. They have families they're looking forward to spending time with. They gave us 30 years of their life, so it's time for them to go and enjoy. So we're excited about that. That's the American dream, I think.
Yeah.
But with that comes a round of promotions. We've got new folks coming in that are going to do good things in their places. We promoted Deputy Chief Adam Ferguson. He's now our Chief of Administration.
My new boss.
Your new boss. Great guy. You couldn't ask for any better.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't test against him because I think he's the star. We got Assistant Chief Brian Mims and Assistant Chief Patrick McCardle that came up. We did a little reorganization, so now we have 2 deputies and 4 assistants where we had 3 and 3. But we did that for some strategic things and to cover some areas that we needed help in. We also promoted 2 battalion chiefs, Lorenzo Hartwell, who's a seasoned veteran, Josh Hagan. He doesn't have as much time as Lorenzo, but he's rising star too. We look forward to working with them. We promoted Captain Kevin Horn, and we have a captain's promotion. We actually have a captain's opening right now. They're going through the promotional process, so hopefully in the next month we'll be promoting an additional captain. We promoted 3 lieutenants, Robert Owens, Amanda Savage, and Christopher Suggs, all great folks, and we look forward to working with them.
Yeah, the latest round of retirements and promotions, I guess I've hit that point in my career, and you've got several more years on the job than I do, but it's weird when now the people retiring are the people that I've worked with most of my career. Chief Willett was my lieutenant the day I got hired. He was my boss the day he retired. Captain Autry was my lieutenant on the rescue company. I mean, and Amanda Savage, Lieutenant Savage, was my firefighter her first day on 7. So I guess I'm entering that point in my career where I'm getting to see entire careers go through. It's really a weird feeling.
Yeah, it's part of it's different. It's definitely an interesting evolution of folks.
Yeah. So what about calls and all the action going on out there? What's been up?
Yeah, we move in. Through our report, once we do all that stuff, we move into operations, which is, what we're all about. We had 6,737 calls in the first 3 months of 2025. That's about 800 more than what we had last year in the same time. So calls do increase, as things move. Rescue and emergency medical service calls still are the lion's share of our responses and what we do. Fires, we had 326 actual fires where you had to pull fire hose and put water on fire. And that's a lot.
That is a
people think, out of 6,000 calls, you only went to 300 fires. But that's a lot of fires, and so we're proud because we like to consider ourselves busy and we do our good job. But it's for the taxpayer and for the citizen who's losing property, that's not a good thing. So we drill down into the data, and that's where our community risk reduction folks come in, and start the education or the remediate whatever is causing these fires. That's where back in the and I was thinking this morning, firefighters, when people think of firefighters, okay, they run to the fire, they put the fire out, they go back, they play checkers, they eat food or whatever and hang out. Well, that's really not the fire department anymore. Now with data and everything else, we come back and we analyze and we try to get into the root cause of the issue and then try to fix it so it doesn't happen again. Because at the end of the day, if my folks don't have to go to fires, then they're not being exposed to the products of combustion and getting cancer, and they're not being exposed to the mental health crisis and seeing these horrible things. So they're going to get paid the same whether they're out enjoying the public or they're out helping them.
Yeah.
That's where we try to go with that.
Yeah, it's hard to explain to folks. I tell them at community watch meetings all the time, I never want your house to burn, but if it does, I want to be there. They can't wrap their head around that a lot of times.
But then we move into our response times. Our goal is 8 minutes, and we're at 7 minutes and 32 seconds, which is still good. It's a little bit slower than what we've had the last 2 years, but this is kind of a dice roll because this is your total response time. So you have a district. If the call is right beside the fire station, obviously the response time is going to be a lot faster than if it's at the far end of your district. So these numbers fluctuate, and there's nothing you can do about that. But as long as the overall number is under the 8 minutes, then we're still sitting pretty good.
Yeah. And you think about all the construction and infrastructure changes going on right now is affecting our response time. You come down Rayford Road, you can't get anywhere fast. I mean, the construction is part of progress. You got to have it. And it does, can that contribute to slowing us down too? Because it's just so abundant right now.
If you look, all these medians, they're put in for safety. We understand that, but they do delay our response.
Yeah.
Traffic circles, speed humps, all the things that are meant to calm traffic. That's great, but they do delay our response. We work around it and we figure it out. But it does cause a little delay.
And we're still in that target goal. We're still meeting that target goal.
I still think it's much safer for the public to have that median and to have those traffic calming devices, but we have to overcome that. So like I said, we had 327 fires. 95 of those were house fires or structure fires. About 230 fires that were either car fires, woods fires, things like that. 51% of the 95 structure fires started in the kitchen, so we still have a lot of work to do in our kitchen fire safety and community risk reduction. And we do know that's the leading cause of fire, and that's where we put a lot of our focus.
And speaking of that, we have just kicked off last month our auto out program. So we have distributed dozens of kitchen fire extinguishers. We are distributing those now to help protect people's kitchens. You don't even have to think about it. If you have a kitchen fire, it's going to activate. So we're slowly getting those rolled out to the city as well.
We're really happy and proud of the work you guys have been doing and getting our folks involved. Reaching out to external partners. I know you've got some partnerships going on with the fire science program at the high school.
E.E. Smith Fire Academy.
Yeah, the young folks, they're going out helping you put those in. We've been working with the economic and community development folks to get some funding. We're a player in the community and a player in the city government, and we're making things happen, and that's really good.
Yeah.
But we still got work to do.
Yeah.
So we had unfortunately, one fire fatality this quarter, 17 fire injuries of civilians, 6 firefighter injuries. Thankfully, those were not anything serious, but, strained sprains and things like that, scratches, cuts. And we did have 2 lithium-ion battery fires. That's something we've started monitoring because, as we know, the lithium-ion batteries do create an additional hazard, and we have to be really careful with those. And I think that's where a lot of our education is going to go to moving forward. One thing we did internally we have been documenting firefighter exposures to products of combustion because cancer is a big thing, and we know what we're getting exposed to, and we've got some support from our legislators for cancer benefits if we are diagnosed with cancer while in the line of duty. So we document those, but we've also started documenting psychological stressful events. And that can be, a small child death or a bad wreck or anything that would trigger a psychological shock to our responders. We've started documenting those so we can follow everybody's paths and make sure we're getting them the resources they need. Top fire losses for the quarter were all residential structures. We had one on Quebec Court in Fayetteville. That was $400,000, a little over $400,000. We had one on in West Fayetteville that was a little over $360,000, and then we had one on Wimbledon Circle that was $235,000. So we didn't have any big commercial fires this quarter. This past
Wimbledon
quarter
was a multifamily, though.
Yes,
that was a multifamily.
Multifamily residential.
Yeah, a bunch of families impacted by that, unfortunately.
For our medical calls, we went over 4,400 medical calls. So 4,400 of those 6,700 were medical responses. 385 of those were motor vehicle accidents. 52 of those required Narcan to be given by the Fayetteville Fire Department, and 70 of those were cardiac arrests. And not only are we looking for root causes of fires, but we're also digging into medical issues, slip, trips, falls, and anything like that. And then we work with our partners in the community paramedic group and other things. How can we relieve or reduce the exposures and the stresses of that? If there's something we can do, help get a handrail up, or provide some literature, or get somebody in touch with a doctor that's cardiac related issues that may be shut in. We've got our fingers in everything, doing the best we can to make everybody healthier and happier in the city of Fayetteville.
Like you said, even if we're not the ones to fix the problem, we can point them in the right direction. We can get them what they need.
And then the last thing for operations, we report on our hazardous materials incidents. They had 65 of those. 35 of those 65 were natural gas leaks or emergencies. 14 were carbon monoxide emergencies, and that usually goes up in the wintertime because folks are burning their heaters and things like that. And then 2 hydrocarbon spills. But that wraps up operations, and then we move into our human resources part of our department, which is, if we don't have people, we can't go put the fire out. So that's really the most important thing we do.
Facts.
Is take care of our folks. At the end of the quarter, we had 14 uniform vacancies, 1 civilian vacancy. The civilian vacancy was an office assistant, which has been hired. And I know you're working hard right now to get us some good folks hired up for the academy starting the second week of May.
Yeah, just a few days away at this point.
We had 8 resignations. Only 3 of those left to go to other fire departments. The 5 left the service altogether. And we track that too because we want to find out why they're leaving us. And if it's to go to another department, well, why? What can we do better? What do they provide that we don't? And we work on things like that, and then we follow a lot of them. They followed their husbands or wives to a job. We are a military town, so we had one that followed his wife to a new PCS. Yeah. So that happens. We had the 3 retirements, and then unfortunately we had 2 dismissals. Our demographics remain the same. Our goal is to have 30% underrepresented population. Right now we're at 17%. So we're still working on that. We have what'd you say the group was in the hiring process this go around?
Just under 40% underrepresented population. But even that number, the way you had it laid out in the report, it's 17% of it's. When you look at underrepresented population, it's all underrepresented populations. And we've got some absolutely stellar women coming on in this next group. We're super proud to see 5 women, possibly, hopefully, coming into the agency when all this is said and done. So
I mean, we just promoted Amanda.
Amanda.
She's
Yep.
she's very sharp and very good, and that promotion wasn't the last one she'll get.
Oh, facts.
And we've got some more coming. The last group of females were good, and we're up to 23, 24 females now,
Yep.
and they're all key players in the game.
Yep.
We're proud of them.
And I love taking Chelsea out with me when I'm doing recruitment stuff, just for the little girls. When you think about girls in middle school looking up and seeing a woman to look up to, I love having them with me to go out and do that. So they have a role model to look at, you know.
And then we did talk about the hiring stats, a little bit for the demographics.
Yeah.
What else is important here? Continuing education, which we are required by law to do a lot of continuing education for all of the certifications that our folks hold, and that takes a lot of their time during the day.
Yep.
When people are wondering what they're doing, if they're in there taking a nap or sleeping, it'd be nice, but usually they're sitting behind an instructor or out doing some training of some sort to get their continuing education hour.
You'll be hard pressed to go to any fire station after 5 p.m. and not find somebody doing homework. I mean, there's a lot of folks working on their even higher education at the station. So,
all right, and then we move into our fire marshal's office. These guys are very busy. We are behind in mandated inspections. We're working on getting caught up. And the reason for that was, it goes back to COVID. We like to blame COVID for everything, but we can blame it for this. When businesses were closed, we just got behind, and Fayetteville's still growing. So trying to catch up and keep up with the new stuff, but we're getting a handle on it. We did hire an additional inspector last quarter of 24. So we've asked for some more in the new fiscal year to help us catch up with those numbers. The top violation found was fire extinguisher violations, and that's usually a dead extinguisher. If you look at the gauge and it's showing empty, when you need it, it's not going to spray anything. And those things are supposed to be inspected annually, and a lot of the times that slips building owners or business owners' minds. Electrical hazards were next. Exit egress was third, and then fire protection equipment and fire department access hazards was rounded out the top 5.
is this a slide you've shown in the past as far as top violations? I don't remember seeing
Yes,
this.
but it's different. Previously, it was a pie chart.
Okay, gotcha.
We try to freshen it up from time to time.
And it's just good to see that most of these are easy fixes. We're not going in and shutting businesses down for minor things. Most of these things are the business can keep running as normal, make the correction pretty quickly for the most part.
Well, look, and these are, our inspectors get beat up.
Yeah,
because everybody loves the fire department, but then the inspector shows up with his book and his violation book, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
But we are committed. We have to make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah.
And our inspectors are sworn by not only state statute, but by the city to uphold these laws and statutes, and that's what they have to do. But we are committed to all of our business owners. We're committed to bringing in new businesses, because if they're not making money, we're not making money.
Facts.
If we don't have any businesses, then they don't need firemen. So we're committed. Our guys do a good job. They bend as much as they can. They there's options. They help you explore those options. But at the end of the day, the law is the law, and there's some things that they just can't bend on.
Yeah.
But they are very proactive, trying to help you find a solution. But
For
like
sure.
you said, it's got to be a bad day to shut a business down. There's always grace periods given, some things that can be done, okay, let's fix this immediately, but I'll give you a few days to fix that kind
for
of
sure.
And then we move finally into community risk reduction. Our community involvement, we went to 14 community events, 25 community watch meetings, had 10 fire station tours, installed 38 child safety seats. That's a great thing. We still take part in that. If anybody, if you just had a baby or you're transitioning your small child to the next size seat, you can swing by a fire station and get that seat installed, or even just inspected to make sure you installed it properly. And then we trained 109 people in hands-only CPR, and we reached, let's see, it looks like about 3,700 folks combined, adults and children, just with some type of interaction. And one thing that I'm excited to speak about, and actually I need to put it on my highlights for next time, is our youth fire setter intervention sessions.
Yeah.
With your community risk reduction ladies and Captain Cheetah, our fire investigator, we've got some training in youth fire setter intervention. A lot of the time these kids, they just need to be talked to, or maybe just a little scared a little bit, or shown what the outcomes are. And they don't need to interact with the police officer. They don't need that on their record if it didn't. Now obviously if there's property damage or somebody got hurt, then there's things that you have to do.
Yeah.
But if a child's setting little grass fires or things like that, there's opportunities to go out there and educate. And that's what they're doing. And we've already had 2 very successful interventions. And actually, we're interacting with our county partners right now to go out in their jurisdiction and help with them, because we actually have that resource. So that's a big thing. You guys are doing great job over there.
A lot of the times it's with these kids, not all the time, but a lot of times it's curiosity.
Yeah.
They don't mean any harm. It's curious. They're amazed by it. Fire is a very mesmerizing force. So they just need that education, that intervention. And even if it is a behavioral problem, sometimes they just need somebody to listen to, or listen to them.
Well, and again, it's digging down into the root cause. Why did that child set that fire? Was he just curious, or was there an underlying issue that maybe we can cut off at the pass? And we look forward to working with the Office of Community Safety and expanding our services like that. And then we always close with, I'm a very big proponent. If anybody else, because I'm always fussing at you. Smoke alarms save lives. We have smoke alarms free of charge. If you are in if you can hear our voice, and you are laying your head down at night without a working smoke alarm, please, please, please give us a call, and we will come out there immediately and install at least one for you. We'll look at your house or your apartment or wherever you are, and if we need to do more than one, we'll do more than one. But we will definitely get you taken care of and make it safer for you.
For sure, Chief. Well, I know you have got a busy schedule. We've all got a very busy week coming up. So anything else we missed?
Well, let me throw that number in. You can't call me if you don't know how to call us. The number is 910-433-1116 for a smoke alarm. Or you can go online and fill out the request on our website or scan the QR code.
FayettevilleNC.gov/fire. It's right there. You can't miss it. So thanks for hanging out with me, Chief, getting this update out to the community. We always love to have you.
Sounds good. Thanks for giving me a call.
All right. Thanks for joining us for the Fayetteville Fire Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to Radio Fayetteville on your favorite streaming platforms to listen to all of our podcasts. Join us next month, but until then, stay safe, Fayetteville.